Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. This one is a very technical one, so I thought I'd be very serious, and Meeks isn't around, so just going to get on with this. Very straightforward. This episode is all about how you measure up for all your woodwork in your van. It's a really simple concept, but essentially the episode itself is just dedicated to trying to understand how you go about starting a van build with the timber work. It's not the easiest thing to work out. In a house, it's really straightforward. You have a level and you can have a laser level. In a van, which is constantly moving when you're walking around in it, doesn't matter if you level it, it's going to be out of level the moment you step into it. So this episode is just to show you how I started with the measurements in our van build, where I took my referencing points from, how I knew it was square, and all of that jazz. So anyway, I hope you enjoy it. And if you need me, you know where I am.
Alright, so just going to give you another little look at what I've been doing. So I've just marked out a single, you're not going to be able to see this, it's dark on dark, oh maybe. On the ceiling you can just about see there is a pencil line that marks the centre of the van all the way down. How that has been measured is off the ribs in the roof. I'm assuming that the ribs in the roof are like equidistant, and the middle one I've basically just taken the centre of that, and that's my centre line. Now I've just sort of transposed that through into here, and I did that before I did all this. Just drawn that now onto this new roof, and so that I can work out where everything needs to be positioned. So obviously having a reference point, which is this now, this is exactly the centre on this front edge to this front edge where my toe is. So that means now I can measure things from here, like the kitchen. So the gap between there and there is where the kitchen's going to start, and then to make sure that it's kind of vertical, not level, I just take the same measurement from the top across and then from the bottom across, and then I know that the kitchen's good. That also applies to what I'm doing right now, which is to fit these panels in here. So I've got this panel to go on here, which I've just routed and painted. Then I've got this panel that sits in behind this seatbelt thing. I've got that ready pretty much. It's just routed, painted, one more coat of paint to go on it. And then this panel, which forms the bathroom wall, then goes into that. So now what I'm doing is getting the measurements for the bathroom wall and using this as my constant. So this is everything, it's directly vertical, even, back to front, side to side. So this is basically where everything now feeds from. I've drawn a pencil mark on the floor as well, which you may or may not be able to see, running all the way through there, and that also denotes the centre of the van. And then that feeds into, this place is a bloody mess, and I keep meaning to clean it up before I do the videos, but I never bother doing it. And then that batten across the back there is even across the back. So I now know all my distances and measurements, where I need to get them based upon that. And it's simple to do. From the bottom, I just took a measurement from this little upstandy bit here to its counterpart on the other side and split it in two. Just did that all the way through the van, and then that gave me my line. So simple. Yeah, as for how vertical this is, I shall show you now. This is an old trick of the trade, but essentially sheet material almost always is absolutely 90 degrees on their corners. So we always used to do this on any projects that we would have if we needed to find out if something was square or level. And when this sits absolutely flat on the floor, we're assuming therefore that the floor is flat. I'm pretty sure it's good, so we're going to go with it. Then ultimately just pull that up tight to here, and then you'll see that compared to the upright bit of timber, there's no gaps. Equally, there are no gaps along the floor, so it must be 90 degrees. That's how I'm doing it. To just double check it, you can obviously just flip a piece of wood around and do it in reverse, and you can check it that way. My seats are in the way, but ultimately it's the same thing. So yeah, you get the gist. So that gives me my constant. Now this beam isn't staying, this isn't actually going to form any part of the van whatsoever, but it's got to stay there while I get this panel in place, so that I can get that nicely squared up and fixed up to the ceiling, fixed down to the floor, and fixed up through the back of what will become the bathroom. And then once I'm happy that that panel is in, secure and not moving, then it comes out. All right.
Okay guys, thanks for watching. I hope you found that useful. There was a couple of things in there which maybe weren't so obvious or clear, but essentially the rule of thumb is about trying to find equal points across the van and then measure to the center in each direction. And finding those reference points in your van is going to be unique to the van. So obviously in the Ducato, which we've got, same as ProMaster, the Citroen Relay and Boxer, we have this very, very simple thing where they have these little upstands on the sides. How we measure, how we gauged where the back piece of timber was to go for that reference point was by measuring off of the very, very front section of metal where it elevates up to the front seats. So that kind of 6-inch upstand that we had there, I took the measurements from the front all the way to the back, marked it, drew a line across, checked it for square using that sheet of ply laid on the floor, so that I could see whether the center line and the back line of the vehicle, the batten on the vehicle, was square to each other, 90 degrees. And that's as good as you can do. So once you've got the upright point, the front to back line on the ground, on the ceiling, the batten on the back of the van, and the metal on the front footwell sort of area, the footwell floor area, you've then got enough reference points for your 90 degrees that you can then use a sheet of material, making sure it's square, to just position it where you need it, and then that gets you your cupboards straight and square, and gets basically whatever paneling you need to do, or if you're concerned about your bed being on an angle because you're not measuring it right, this is the way to do it. So nice simple episodes. Meek sends her apologies. We're just back off holiday and we have so much to do. And so yeah, thanks for watching. There's tons more useful videos coming up, so if you are finding any of this stuff useful, just hit the old subscribe button. We sporadically put out the videos, we don't sort of every Sunday or anything like that, so if you click the notification bell, then what will happen is when I get you a new video ready, it will send you a notification and you can watch it as and when you have time. See you on the next one.